Yo guys. It's your friend here, bringing you another awesome Naruto what if tale. We are going to see what if Naruto became the Prince of Storms in My Little Pony and formed a magical harem. Part 1. If you want more awesome fanfiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. The female winged creature was silently looking outside the windows of the silent empty room with an air of apprehension on her normally compassed face, subtle trickles of sweat slowly falling from her forehead. Well, thousands of scenarios played in her mind at blinding speed. She was known as Celestia, and she was now about to see what the two most daring gambles she had took 1,000 years before will translate into. One was about exiling her beloved sister that had got corrupted years before and turned her into an evil entity renamed herself Nightmare Moon that Celestia had banished on the very moon of her world, and another more twisted in hindsight, and that was now showing more downsides than Celestia herself could have imagined even in her darkest moments. And both are about to blow up on my face, she muttered with a sigh of defeat. And exactly a week the moon, stars, and pretty much the whole universe will seemingly help Nightmare Moon in her escape from her confinement, and even if Celestia had slowly and painfully as well, since it went against everything she herself stood for, MVE things, so to have the reincarnations of the only thing able to truly help her sister to meet and purify her, the fact that the second victim of her 1,000-years-long countermeasures was also finally showing its restlessness was drawing the alicorn spare in worry. I am not even sure the elements of Harem will work on him. He is not driven by darkness, his rage will probably being justified by my literally tearing him away from what he thought was his home, his friends and family, even giving him back part of the memories those people erased had been source of further anger instead of peace. It's a wonder the barrier held for the entirety of those 3 months. Celestia muttered while looking towards one of the sealed chambers of the palace, a place where only her could enter. What she could not know was that the prisoner inside the light-colored sphere of energy had not been trapped for 3 months, but it instead followed the suggestion of the secondary entity inside his body and used part of the memory Celestia had given him to understand how his new body worked, slowly, painfully recovering the control over his power that he used to have before getting forcefully took away. She had tried to give him memories of his youth and enough info about language and basic workings about his body and possible magic in hope that he could use that as a starting point to then learn the rest by himself. She couldn't imagine that a second mind could block those info, dissect them, and keep only the fundamental parts, like the notion about using the newly formed horn on his forehead instead of his now hovish-shied hands to fight. Your Majesty, the special ship you asked for is ready, an armor-covered Pegasus said after entering the room, but tell the soldiers to vacate the area around us as instructed while flying at the accorded distance. I want only the bare minimum EU on board. The less people are around the treasure the better I will feel, Celestia answered, nodding. Anything dangerous we can take that to Ponyville ourselves while you fly secure on the ship. No need to risk your life, Princess, the guard offered with a worried tone. Thank you for your offer, but it's my responsibility. I would have preferred leaving everything sealed in the vault, but I don't feel at ease being too far away from such a dangerous thing, the princess answered. Sorry the boldness, Your Highness, but wouldn't be better just destroying it if it is so dangerous? I am afraid that even if by far the most destructive thing I had ever seen, I can't simply destroy a thing that I fear is also near impossible, even should I wish to, Celestia answered, sighing. I understand. Sorry for my words, Princess, the guard said with a low bow. You are just worried. I won't hold it against you. Now go, we still have a lot to prepare, Celestia said with a gentle smile. Roger, the guard answered before disappearing from the room. It's time to face the music and the repercussions of my choices, the princess said before steeling herself and moving towards the imprisoned Pegasus. The next day, Ponyville Library. Why gosh, it's already time. We are not ready yet. There is still the catering to organize. The decorations are still getting adjusted. And a young purple unicorn rambled in shock at Celestia enter the room. She was in twilight. Calm down. I am here because I need a special brand of favor, one that I could end. OT put on parchment and send you something I had took care of personally but now requires further help and I am forced to ask you as I can actually trust only you for this. The princess answered, everything whatever you need. Twilight Sparkle, personal student of the Alicorn princess, answered immediately. Why, while standing to attention, it's a serious matter that requires maximum secrecy. Follow me, Celestia said. Before both disappeared in a flash of light, the two soon appeared in an empty room only containing the glowing sphere of energy holding inside Celestia's most foolish mistake, second only to her own sister's banishment. What is that, princess? The young girl asked. I call it treasure as it is in its purest form and at its origins. What was at his birth? Celestia answered, sighing. Some pony is in there? Twilight asked, curious. I'll tell you an old story, a sad one. Over 1,000 years ago, the Ree was a mother, the most pure, gentle of the mares, a beauty as pale as the moonlight and as gentle as the breeze of a night of summer. One day she fell in love with one of the guards that had swore to protect her with his own life, and even if their relationship was not frowned upon, the two still want to keep everything a secret, maybe as a sort of game, or maybe in fear that some pony would have something against them. Celestia said. Then what happened? The young unicorn asked. From their union a young Pegasus was made. Even as a colt he was as brave as his father but as gentle as his mother. Truly fusion of both parents' best qualities, but then corruption took the mother, forcing a great power to separate the parents from the frilly. The young stallion had been once again returned to a state of infancy and cast away so far that even the mother could not reach him, and twisted into a new shape. Oh, that he could not be summoned or even recognized, and apparently with even the few memories his young mind had of his life here erased by the same people that swore to keep him safe in a world of anger, war, and constant tension, he grew stronger than anything we had ever seen, and I have called him back and imprisoned him in that sphere. Celestia answered. But why? Twilight asked, confused. He needed to return. I hoped he could help me resolving an ancient problem of our world, but I had not realized that I would have basically kidnapped its pony. Nop, sorry, the unicorn corrected her. Automatic all. Why? Before blushing, excuses are not necessary as he had been turned into inhuman. They use the term kidnap in that case, and as I said, I didn't realize that I was taking him away from what he believed being his life to take him here. He had been rightfully furious, especially when I made another mistake in showing that he had lived a lie that lasted 20 years. From his point of view, the Orn said, human like those creatures from legends. Twilight asked. They are real, but legends never described them as a belligerent race that unfortunately had never felt the power of harmony and friendship like we did and still do, or at least those he had lived with acted as such. The ones that raised him were by far the most powerful kind, and even if in that human body he had no access to his normal Pegasus powers, he had rose to the top to become the strongest, towering over everyone in strength, and yet never losing that same gentleness and pure heart he had as a filly. Celestia answered. So he returned into being a Pegasus once you called him back? Exactly. I hoped that recovering his memories would have helped, but I was wrong. I need you to keep this fear in check should something happen that would stop me from mounting guard on him. He is a young stallion, as apparently the world I took him from had time working differently. That explains why after 1,000 years he is barely a young adult, older than you. Can you do this, Twilight? Can you help me mount and guard and keep the secret not a single pony see and know about him until I'll be sure he won't get revenge on every being that cross his path? Celestia asked. No, pleaded her student. Be everything. You can count on me, princess, the young unicorn answered, nodding. Good. I personally sealed this room and the ship as a whole. Only me and you will be able to enter. Well, the others won't even register its existence. Now show me how things are progressing. I am actually curious about how the summer sun celebration will be like, the princess said with more calm smile. Right away, please follow me, your highness, Twilight said while the two moved outside the room, sealing the entrance with a series of heavy metallic noises. Did you hear that? Someone spun some bullshit around so to appear crystal clean and smelling of roses, the prisoner thought with a sneer. Just wait until we will be sure you won't trip on your feet, hooves, whatever, then we will burst out and have the fish learn what happens when you mess up with people's lives. A second voice, this one deep and inhuman, echoed in the stallion's head. But pleasure, how long before I can return to my top form? He asked. If we are lucky, just a week here. Natural energy is even thicker than back home, but there is not even the slightest spark of chakra in those creatures, as I could not feel any. A little bit more patience and you will be able to do even the most complex technique with this horn of yours alone, the voice answered. Good, the sage mode and frog kotas will be a little bit more difficult to adapt, but I nay. Veer lacked imagination. I can't wait, the Pegasus answered, smirking. Well said, Naruto, well said. We have a week to finish adapting the Renan and its variant to being horn generated along the remaining techniques we know, but the fish luckily had the brilliant idea of giving us the basics of how to do the IR magic. Useless crap if you ask me. We will show them what real power is once out of here, Kurama Nine-Tailed Badu answered with a similar furrowed grin. The week later, P. Avalon, our dear beloved subjects, it has been so long since we have seen thou precious little sun-loving faces. A female alicorn with the skin as dark as the moonless night said with a purring voice as the cries of the ones present grew in volume with their calling for Celestia to show up in the deepest recesses of the lonely airship, hidden not too far away by layers upon layers of illusions, the sphere of light holding the Sun Prince. SS's prisoner started sparking an energy. It's a solid barrier, that much I will admit, but still just an annoyance, Naruto muttered as he closed his eyes to focus as some negative emotions made their presence known. The sad thing is that by their standards whoever is here now must feel like a monster, but to us I would barely classify it as angry kitten, and that with me being generous this guy has nothing to urge or Madara. Kurama said SN earring, but still I can't feel that Celestia's presence as clearly as I did before. She must be pretty far away, the other answered. No chakra, but they have such an abundance of spiritual energy that we can still sense them through the sage mode. The fact that natural energy here is more abundant also helps, just like following something underwater by tracking the ripples it leaves behind. The Badu said, all the better for me. I want to kick that woman's ass for what she did, then go back to Koha, resurrect Kobe, Jiggy, and my father and beat them into a paste. They should have told me, Naruto said while yelling the last part and actually making cracks appear on his prison. Calm down, we have a bad guy here to defeat, so use the bastard as a chew toy to burn out some stay. Then we'll have all the time to have that horn horse pay for what she did, Kurama answered. Then let's break out and fight. I am tired to stay immobile like this. I need some action, the blonde said eagerly. Then summon the truth-seeking balls and eat through this light show. It's starting to hurt my Yes, the Boo said. You really like those, don't you? I'll never understand why they are boring. Oh, shut up. We have an OP ability and I pretend to see it used. Okay, let me put on the right dress, then we are going to crush a party and we have to look our best, Naruto answered, laughing as he opened his now yellow eyes while his body started transforming. Meanwhile, you sure you want to come with me? Twilight asked while watching royal guards getting through round by the powerful bolt of lightning launched by Nightmare Moon. You said that girl, those elements or whatever can stop her. That's not something nay do alone. A sand Pegasus with rainbow-colored man answered, nodding. Bash is right. If you have a way to stop that crazy horse, then I'll help as well. A pony with a cowgirl had added, fools, no one will stop us. Our night shall last for whatever Nightmare Moon was about to say failed when both back legs a mysterious Pegasus struck her face. Time itself seemed to briefly come to an halt as the helmet around the alicorn's head slowly deformed under the power of the attack. Well, air rippled behind the air, then as if a spring had been released, the dark Eorn went shot away as a blur, demolishing several houses and leaving behind a trail of destruction as she was sent flying all the way out of the small town and kicking up a cloud of dust of immense proportions. Bam, I guess I overdid a little, the strange figure said with a sheepish grin. He was a tall, imposing stallion with 3 strange markings on ACH cheek, wearing a strange bandana with a leaf engraved on it. His body was seemingly made of golden fire, forming a light-colored coat on his back and a dark-colored bodysuit underneath that covered his torso, reaching down to his front legs up to the hooves and then down to his back legs, this time topping just above his hooves, but also changing their color so to look like those two were made of the same fire-like energy of the cloak. A stranger was also sporting a light-colored circle on his abdomen as well as golden markings around his collar. On the back of the coat there was a strange marking G of an eye unknown to them that was indeed the symbol of the six paths in Jutsu a Renan above 9 Magatama. Who are you? Twilight asked in surprise before she looked behind him and from where he came, thing that had her paling considerably. Once understood who he was. Name's Naruto. Nice to meet you. The stallion answered while still looking at the deep gash Nightmare Moon left on the road with her tumbling. Why you are the prisoner? Why you are out? The purple unicorn asked you. Okay Twilight. Who was he? One of the other girls with her asked. Celestia was holding him sealed away in the hope of helping him reintegrate with Equestria after certain circumstances, but now he is out. Why now? She answered. Sensed some bad intentions and decided to help. Where is that woman that trapped me? The flaming stallion asked. Oh, I know that she had been sent on the sun by that big dark meanie, the pink mare of the G Group answered with a cheerful voice. So she is dead? Naruto asked. No, she is certainly alive, as her magic is attuned to the sun. Twilight answered. I see. How did we bring her back? I want to be the one kicking her ass. And I blank. The shy Pegasus muttered. What if you had to be that rude? Can you at East not curse I if it is not a problem, she replied while looking down. Not my style. If an ass, it is an ass. I am going to call it. Naruto answered, making Dash snort at his serious expression. We need the elements of harmony to stop her, and me and the others were about to go retrieve them. Twilight said. Want me to keep her occupied? Then he asked. Why would you help us? Because contrary to what Celestia thinks, I am actually one of the good guys. I just don't like being forced to leave behind my friends and home, because apparently I was never told that I came from here. N answered. I am sorry Twilly. GHT said meekly. Were you the one that called me here? He asked. Well no, she answered. Then why you? Apologies, I know who I am angry with, so I won't go around attacking random people. The stallion answered. Okay, we are wasting time. Can you hold her until we return? Rainbow Dash asked. Boy, I am a girl. She his said angrily. Sorry girl, I am completely different from whatever you have seen up until now. Give me some credit, he said smirking. Our indeed different. Nightmare Moon growled as she reappeared above the group to show her bruised face twisted into a furious snarl. Hook you long enough, princess. Did I give you boo boo? Naruto asked amused. You insolent fool, beggin', she answered while lassing storm clouds around herself and launching several bolts of lightning at him. Oh, take those elements, I'll buy you as much time as I can, he answered, well disappearing in a burst of light and incredibly dodging each and every lightning bolt before headbutting the alicorn with enough strength to send both through several houses and making the terrain tremble from the impact that was fast. Dash said with wide eyes before getting dragged away with the others. You are the most annoying, insufferable, miserable brute ever had the misfortune to meet. Nightmare Moon hissed as her horn glowed white hot in power from her rage alone. Thank you, I like to leave a good impression. It's a pity that I will only keep you occupied. Well, the others bring here those elements or whatever, but at least I will make some exercise. We wait, I have been sealed for way too long for my tastes, Naruto answered chuckling. And you think you will be able to stop us? And with what kind of army? The Alorn asked smirking. Look, I'll tell you in terms that you will understand. I am a one stallion army, Naruto answered. You fool, have you any idea how many times we saw young Pegasus and unicorns call themselves like that? It has lost its meaning nowadays, she said laughing. Want to bet I think we were going to take UIAG bunch and no jutsu massive shadow clone technique, Naruto yelled as his horn flared up even more before thousands of clones himself all sporting the same flaming cloak appeared around him. Seriously, Nightmare Moon squeaked as the heart of clones plus original rained on her from every possible direction. We are starting to think that this was not an idea as good as we thought, she muttered sadly. Everfree Forest with Twilight and the others, the small group was running, or in Dash case flying, as fast as they could towards the abandoned castle. The purple unicorn said the elements had been hidden in. We are almost there, keep running, Twilight yelled. You think that he will really be able to distract her long enough? Roar. Ity asked worried. From what I can tell you about it, Celestia called here a Pegasus that had been banished just like Nightmare Moon. The problem is that the place he had sent to was a whir of drowning and wars that turned him into an hardened warrior. He had apparently lost any memory about Equestria so now he Marentus for basically Panya napping him away from his home. He somehow gained friends in that violent place, and so he rightfully doesn't like the situation, but the princess was hoping to have him understand that his place is here and that he will be able to find new friends. Unfortunate Lee got free before he could calm down enough to have us explain everything calmly, and now I don't know what to do, she answered as faraway echoes of explosions were still reaching them no matter how deep in the woods they were moving. The fact that he's helping us instead of that crazy mare is AG. Ood start though, Applejack answered. You heard him, he is an hero, of course he will help us, Pinkie Pie added smiling. I only know that Celesa defined him the most destructive entity ever seen and that she needed him for something. Maybe she hoped to use him against Nightmare Moon in case of emergency, or at least as a way to buy her, or in this case as time to use the elements of harmony, Twilight answered as a dense mist was slowly rising around them and rapidly getting always thicker. You silly foos, as if some pony could really stop us, Nightmare Moon's voice resounded around the small group, although an edge of exhaustion managed to slip through her tone. How you talk, it seems that he still managed to take a toll on you, Dash said with a challenging tone. Insolent, it was by mere luck that he managed to catch us by Serp, the disembodied voice replied angrily. You sure? As far as I remember it was you, the one to turn into mist and run towards here, a male voice said in amusement. You, Nightmare Moon roared. And who else? The flaming stallion said from a tree branch. How did you find me in this state? I can sense your presence. You may not have chakra like me, but you all have such a ridiculous reserves of spiritual energy that you people call magic that I could still track you down. Satisfied, Naruto answered as part of the mist condensed back into the alicorn, showing how her body was covered in bruises while standing on shaking legs. You still need to defeat us, and as for now you still lack in power, yo. You weakling, the alicorn spat, furious before cringing at the glare she received. An answer I usually don't like to overdo, but I hate when people underestimate me, so for the next 3 minutes only I will show you the next step of my abilities, because remember, if I didn't use my full power up until now it w as only because I don't want you dead. Get ready, he answered with narrowed eyes. Is that so, though? Thou think you can scare us with some bold claim? Show you us then, Nightmare Moon answered. Really? Naruto asked, taken aback from her answer. Hoy, it's her funeral after all. Show her my evader form. I bet the why never saw anything like that here, Kurama said with a feel smirk. I hate when the bad guys go all I and take everything you can dish out. It makes me feel bad to then beat them to dust, the flaming stallion said before his body seemingly exploded into a towering pillar of energy that then rapidly to okay the massive shape of Kurama's body along the 9 tails and rings around the eyes to accompany the skeleton-like lines on the rest of the body. The unicorns Pegasus, Earth Pony, and one alicorn present could only watch as the evader of energy kept growing in size until it completely dwarfed the whole forest and the surrounding area before roaring with unmatched anger at a millimeter of Nightmare Moon's face. And while the girls were surprised by reflex at seeing that happen, the corrupted alicorn princess was showing all the signs of being extremely worried as her eyes were bulging wide open. The izzes and pupil had visibly shrunken to the point of looking almost absent, but they didn't know though was that Nightmare Moon was also screaming inwardly, as for some reason her voice kind of refused to come out of her open mouth. Are you Satisy, little horsey? My companion here may like to play nice, but I didn't, Kurama said using the avatar's mouth before one of his huge paws grabbed the still shocked alicorn to throw her back to Ponyville like a shrieking bullet, and with enough strength to have her leave behind a sonic boom out of the sheer speed her body reached. Sorry for Karam's antics. He is usually more calm. Go fetch those elements. If she wants me and him to get serious, then she has to help. You will find them fast. My techniques are not made to be gentle, Nudo added before the huge 9-tailed fox made of energy sprinted towards the corrupted princess with a new deafening war cry. Oh. Twilight answered with a weak voice while ignoring Dash trying to revive the fainted Rarity and Fluttery behind her. That's one hey of a talent, Sugar Cube, but what talent is that? Applejack asked while trailing in awe the amount of destruction the huge Badoo evader left behind just by moving. I honestly don't know, but let's move fast because I fear there won't be enough Nightmare Moon for us to use the elements on otherwise, Twilight answered before the still shaking group renowned their efforts towards the elements of harmony with Nudo. Is this more of your liking, princess? If I were you I would stay still and wait for those pretty girls to help you with those elements, the stallion said from his place inside Kurama's spectral head. What are you? How can you do such things? Why did my sister left such an inane creature like you anywhere near Quester? Nightmare Moon asked while still keeping distance. Tance from the enormous creature. No matter what she did, he didn't seem possible to stop or deter. He could break illusions faster than how she could cast them. Any spell she used was either dodged or countered by his clones or the spiraling spheres of energy he could summon on the tip of his horn that, if he didn't outright let it struck him and then get up as if nothing happened, and the huge body of energy he was piloting was apparently totally impervious to anything she threw at it through telekinesis. No matter how big, believe it or not, I originally came from here before she sent me away. Where I ended, I had Karama here sealed inside me that had me gaining the ability to use and wield chakra, the energy everyone there had in their bodies. From there I just grew up, becoming the strongest ever before she stupidly thought that I would have gladly left behind everything I had gained after breaking my back on a daily basis and risking my life to fight crazy bastards with dreams about world domination. Once bought here, I even fought against a veritable goddess and came out victorious, and now look at me, I am here fighting a tantrum throwing flying horse that could not accept the fact that someone would sleep during the night. So do me a favor and drop whatever you are doing that is keeping Celestia on the sun so she can come here and send me back. The other answered, never. I will be the only ruler of Equestria ever if it kills me. Nightmare Moon said while flying as high as she could above the Talion, deciding to focus all her power in a single attack and uncaring that it would probably cause Celestia to break free without a great deal of her magic. Holding the other alicorn exiled, she is trying something. Can you feel it? Kurorama asked. Yep, her last try. Should we show her that she really Eds to stay put? Nudo asked back. I guess we really have to just angle it a little higher. We don't need to kill her, the Badu answered, nodding. Take this and disappear, you monster. Nightmare Moon yelled at the top of her lungs as a thick bolt of pure condensed darkness went shot from her horn towards Nar. Yudo Sor Lerb Damas and Shuriken, Naruto said while converting a truth-seeking ball into a tailed beast ball hovering on the tip of his horn and adding wind nature chakra to create for shuriken-like blades around it before hurling it at the Orn. The two attacks met briefly before the former shinobi's jutsu simply cut through Nightmare's attack, erasing it from existence, shocking the corrupted princess to the core that had only the time to summon a quick shield around herself before the jutsu flew above her. The resulting explosion completely engulfed her body, shooting her to the ground at breakneck speed and leaving her smoking heavily bruised body in the middle of an huge crater, her armor almost completely gone and her back showing the most bruises, and probably still holding wings only thanks to the armor she was wearing. And that got atomized. You okay? Naruto asked after dropping the chakra evader and nearing her with a short trot. Stay away, the exhausted and surprisingly scared Nightmare Moon shrieked while scampering away from the flaming stallion until her back was pressed against a wall. I angled did so it would not have touched you. As I said, my intention was about buying time for others, not killing you, he answered with a sad smile. If you hate Celestia, you should have just left me do what I wanted. She would have suffered years on the sun for her sins, she answered while leaning even closer to the wall. At seeing him walk near her, you needed to be helped since those NTS comms save you. Then I decided to help. I would have hoped to do so without getting violent, but you were not hearing reasons, Naruto answered. We are here, we have the elements, Twilight yelled as she and the others reached the duo. It was not easy that Mayer had left behind illusions and angry monster to stop us, Dash said in annoyance. Those poor animals were also forced to attack us, Flutter, she added. When did you do that? Naruto asked, curious. During our strategic retreat, Nightmare Moon answered. Be work fast, that's for sure, the flaming stallion said, surprised. Thank you, she answered. Well, a bit surprised by the sudden colloquial tone the monstrous Pegasus in front of her had started using. Can we use the elements, dear? I think Ponyville suffered enough from her attack, Rarity asked with a raised eyebrow while pointing with an hoof at the destruction surrounding the group. And most of that is my alt. I fear my jutsu are kind of destructive, but I will help repair everything once done, a blushing Nudo said while stepping to the side. You better hope Ma farm is still intact or I'll buck you as hard as I buck Mre, Applejack said with narrowed eyes. My attack shouldn't have touched it, I swear, the OT. Her replied while rising both hooves. What are you going to do? Nightmare Moon asked with narrowed eyes. Use the elements of harmony on you and purify whatever had corrupted you, Twilight answered, and he will stop attacking us, she asked while stealing glances at the flaming Nudo near her. Yes, the purple Unicorn answered uncertain, then yes please do so, this is our best side. Nightmare Moon answered with an happy smile while presenting her left cheek. I feel kind of offended, Naruto muttered, pouting as a rainbow-colored ray of light engulfed the corrupted princess that must be the most feminine looking I had ever seen. I swear I felt my manliness drop a few points just by looking at it, Kurorama muttered while shaking his head. Pama please, this is hardly the moment for jokes, we still need to find a way to return home, Naruto thought, sighing once the blinding light died down and knew all Eorn stood in place of Nightmare Moon, showing that the corruption had twisted more than just the princess's mind. She was now a tall indigo-colored pony with bright aqua eyes and large feathered wings. On either side of her black patches could be seen her hind legs under the white crescent moon marking on her FL. She was now wearing dull blue horseshoes, if that was the name of the thing, Nudo mused, and a bib-likey piece of black cloth around her neck adorned by the same crescent moon insignia. Her man was long, flowing even in wind's absence and sparkling just like if the stars in the sky were tangled in the well, that's a nice change, sorry for hurting you, but in my defense you were not yourself, Naruto offered with an apologetic tone. We would have preferred being saved in a less painful manner, yes, but we do appreciate the gesture all the same. We are Luna Moon Princess and sister of Celestia, and you element bearers and warrior of light have our deepest gratitude, Luna answered well, painfully bowing to the two groups. Oh my gosh, a real prince has thanked us, Pinky said with a wide smile. So those rocks are the elements, they don't look threatening, the flaming stallion said uncertain. Actually those are just the former husks of the elements. Their true power now reside in the young ponies you have in front of you, a new voice said as Celestia finally reappeared in the middle of the group. Celestia, Luna said with a meek voice, it's all okay sister, I am happy to see you return to your senses, the sun princess said while hugging her sister with happy tears streaming down her cheeks. I helped resolving your problem with your sister, now send me back, Naruto demanded with narrowed eyes. I am sorry, but this is not possible, Celestia had the time to say before the stallion reappeared in front of her with a withering glare on his face. What he bellowed with enough force to kick up dust and crack the terrain behind the princess. A cough, the spell I used to turn you into inhuman and then back into a Pegasus can be used only once. Even if I send you back you would still remain in your current and true bod. Why, the princess answered after managing to bite down the high-pitched tone her voice momentarily took in surprise. Why it can be used only once, and why then you called me back, the stallion asked. It was an experimental ritual created by Star Swirl. He theorized that with enough power an equestrian could be changed into another shape, but also added that any form different by something of our world could have put enough strain on the subject to kill them. I took a gamble into turning you into inhumans since they are creatures completely different from us in mind, body and spirit. It was by turning you in to an Eorn and then sacrificing that particular transformation using the resulting backlash of power to do it, but your body had to be turned into that of a human infant, so to minimize the danger of killing you by using a smaller shape, Celestia answered, and you can't do that again. I survived the extraction of my Bigu, a thing that usually kills the victim, and even his reintroduction in my seal. I am certain I will survive some magic trick of a longhorn self-centered horse just like you, he hissed back. Listen, I am asking you to give Equestria a try. Your life should have been here. It was by Ar of Luna's corruption influencing you as well that I acted so recklessly, but I was desperate at the time and could not find another solution, the Sun Princess answered with a pleading tone. And Koha and my friends, the life I had fought so hard to have, I finally got them to acknowledge my existence. Why? Oh, you egoistical __, Naruto yelled in fury. Hey, don't you dare, Twilight was about to say before freezing at the intense furious glare she got from the stallion. What, he muttered with a throaty growl. I know it's hard to accept, but this is your home world, give us a chance and in exchange I'll find a way for you to contact your friends back in that world like that. You won't leave them behind completely, Celestial offered. Why not giving me a way to go back, he asked again, this time with eyes filled by pain and loss, actually hurting the princess more than his rage had before. You would redo RN is a Pegasus. I can't return you to inhuman body. It's too dangerous, she answered, shaking her head to the other shock. He just dropped down crying silently and covering his head with his hooves. Bo, you still have me. Come on, brat, say something, Kurorama said in apprehension. It's all okay, they are your friends, they will understand and don't abandon you. You will still communicate with each other. Is still something flutter, she said while nearing him and dropping down to be at eye level with him, her motherly side kicking in at seeing his despaired expression. I have lost everything. Why, what do you want? Tea from me? Didn't I do enough? Can't I have a little peace to enjoy my life, to have a girl, a family? He muttered angrily. Who was he? Sister. Why did we pwn up him from his home? You heard him. He had managed to get himself friends and probably a nice life, Luna asked, confused. Because I wanted to reunite Amo there with her son, no matter what, and in my blind ignorance I did just that, uncaring of the damages I would have done to him. But in my defense, I never thought that he would have managed to have friends in such a violent place. I am sorry, Celestia said while helping Nudo to stand and even hugging him. I had a mother back in Koha and a father, a man that I now wish to strangle with my hands or hooves or whatever, he answered. I am not putting this into discussion, but give your mother here a chance as well. She has every right, as well as the woman that adopted you, Celestia answered as she stopped hugging him. And who is his mother? Luna asked. Well, you, sister, the Sun Princess said with a shy tone. Me, her. Both Nudo and Luna yelled at the same time while pointing at each other. Luna, he is the sun you and Fierce Storm had 1,000 years ago. Maelstrom Knight, or just Maelstrom, since his father always defined T had name as a mouthful to say, Celestia said, uncertain. Surprisingly, Naruto can be translated as Maelstrom in our language, so he had not exactly changed his name, she then added with a nervous laugh. The tense silence fell in the group as the shocked stallion dropped the sage mode to show a rust-colored with a yellow and still spiky mane. The mark on his flank was of 9 foxtails meeting with their white tip to form a spiral with a wide center. I even had his clothes resized by the best fashion designers of Kanat since he seemed to like those, and the bandana, Celestia said, trying to fill the ward silence while pointing at the red with black flames jacket and the top half of the stallion's old orange and black jumpsuit he was wearing under it. He even had the pendant he won from Tsunade still around his neck. Princess Luna, are you feeling well? Twilight asked to the wide-eyed Alorn that was fixating Nudo with unblinking eyes. Not that the shell-shock stallion was sporting a different expression. Oh, I think I know that expression, Kurorama muttered in horror at seeing Luna's face split into a wide grin. Maelstrom, the princess squealed as she pounced on Nudo to hug the life out of him, nuzzling her cheek on his, enchanting his name and pure happiness. Wounds completely forgotten. Okay, what the underscore is happening here? The stallion finally asked as he recovered his voice. Celestia was suffering from the third headache of the week, all thanks to her sister Luna that wouldn't stop hing on and on about how much of a stutter son was, or how much proud of him she was for growing that strong. Not even the bandages covering most her body or the limp in her steps was deterring her from praising how well Maelstrom Ned fraud her when she was Nightmare Moonboo and that flaming man of Nergy. Did I mention how studly and dashing he was while protecting Ponyville because he was? Luna asked with a wide smile. Yes, you did 5 times already, Celestia yelled as even her legendary self-control couldn't take it anymore. Something wrong, sister? The Moon Princess asked Luna. Dear sister, I understand that you think the world of your son, no matter how badly he had injured you in that fight. He was just trying to save his mommy. Nothing worthy of an headache, as those are only minor bruises, Luna said unconcerned. The fact that she could so calmly ignore wounds that would have had any other Eason pony soldier or alicorn alike fall over and scream in utter agony just because her son had been the cause of them had been already registered as a medical miracle worth of study. At a side, Celestia growled. I would be more worried about the fact that he has still to speak a word ever since we took him back here, that and the fact that he refuses to eat in favor to just meditate, and I fear he is planning something to escape. The Sun Princess then said, why would he? I am here now and can be his mother once again. We will be able to fly together. I will be able to teach him how to one day take my place with the rising of the moon. Why would he leave now that we are back into being a family? Luna asked back, dumbfounded. Luna, this was said with as much calmness and as slowly as Celestia could. Yes, we took him away from the life he believed was his own, from his friends, from a girl he apparently wished Ed to date she was a peasant not worthy of him, Luna said with a grimace. Listen to what I say, Celesta roared while opening her wings wide for added effect. And what do you want to say, Leiden here? Luna yelled back. He will try his darn best to run away and return to that world, pony or not, Pegasus or not. Nothing and no py will stop him. He will try to go there no matter what we say or do, and you can be certain that should we decide to force the issue, he will do everything in his power to make sure we will regret that choice. And you saw him first hoof, he can be devastating when he wants to, and if we how ourselves as being the only things stopping him from returning home, he will unleash all his power on us, and unless we both banish him on the moon, I fear he will give us one of our greatest battles, that if even the moon banishment will be able to stop him, as I fear that very few things can. Celeste Ia said while looking inside Luna's eyes with her hardest stare. But I am his mother, why would he leave me? We can be a family now, the other asked with horrified eyes, royal tone forgotten as it was a too serious matter for her to remember the lesson she and her sister took in their younger days. He doesn't remember your being his mother, as he told us time and time again. To him his mother had always been named Kina, even showing him once again your memories of the few years you Storm and him had been able to spend together had been useless. He refused everything and answered with the memories he has of Koha and the people he met in there. The son Alorn answered with a sad tone. But why did they erase his memories just to give to that human a son when she couldn't have one of her own? Luna demanded with watering eyes. In hindsight they did the right thing. Had he remembered being a pony, he would have had problems adjusting to his human body, but you can see the results even by restarting as a blank slate. His experiences in there, his friends, his every action ever since he appeared in that world as an infant had shaped him into a kind soul. The few memories of his adoptive parents and other parental figures in his life like that Jera and Harem had taught him the value of hard work, of compassion and camaraderie. They showed him how to fight for what's right and to help the more we can protect the innocents. They didn't just give him to some random human, they made sure he could develop into a respectable human, and they did. You can't deny that even if now he has inhuman mind inside the body of a winged unicorn, he is no different from any other pony of Equestria. Celestia answered, but he doesn't see me as his mother. Luna screamed strongly enough to have the windows rattle and scare her sister. He doesn't look at me with eyes filled with the love a filly should have. He doesn't come to me to get comforted whenever sad. He doesn't acknowledge the bond we share ever since I delivered him to this world. He doesn't even call me mother with conviction or love, she then said, and that is one of my many regrets, sister. Moving you to a site is showing more downsides than what I wish to believe possible, Celestia muttered an answer with her head lowered down. Then why you didn't send him with me on the moon? Why, I had already lost the stallion I loved in the war against the Griffey. Why you had to take my son away as well? The Moon Princess asked with a broken voice. I feared that should he have come with you, your own corruption would have slowly affected him as well. I couldn't even keep him here. By the time of your return, time itself would have killed him, and had he become an alicorn, then his own grief for losing you would have had him go nightmare. Just to force me to free you, I had no other choice than send him elsewhere where time flowed differently, so that by the time of your return not long would have passed for him. Like that you too would have been able to stay Toge there. I didn't expect all this to turn into an huge mess, the Sun Princess answered. Then maybe you should have sent him with me, at least like that. Even in the cold pits of corruption we would have stayed together, and he would have called me mother with all the affection and attachment he now denies me. Luna answered sobbing, sister, stop speaking nonsense and let's try again. He is letting himself dying well, trying to return to a place that will never again accept him. They are humans and he is in unicorn, exception made for his friend. No pony else will accept him there for what he is. We need to help understand this before it is too late and he see his former world turn its back to him. Cesta said pleadingly, I won't let them do that. I will make their moon crash on their pitiful should they hurt him, the other said with as much rage she could fit in her voice. Now calm down, he is probably in he gardens, so it's there we will find him. Okay, I can do this, Luna answered, nodding. You need to rest, Celestia said. No, I need my son to recognize me, nothing else matters, she answered. Gardens. Few minutes later, silently making their way to the gardens of the castle, the two princesses decided to Why hidden in the shadows and silently observed the blonde stallion sitting with closed eyes in the middle of the grass, sometimes muttering something under his breath and nodding. What is he saying? Luna asked, whispering. It's the language of the world I had sent him to. He is muttering about being almost there. He is planning something, Selesa said before going wide-eyed. Maelstrom, the moon princess, immediately yelled while showing herself to the shocked unicorn. I am sorry, I can't stay here, I just can't, Naruto replied with haunted eyes that horrified the alicorn. But why you want to leave me? Luna asked in despair. My place is not here. What am I supposed to do? I am a shobi and ninja. My whole life was about protecting Koha and my friends. I dreamed to become Hokage and be able to protect my precious people. I want to go home, he answered while shaking his head. But you are at home here with me, Luna replied while slowly walking closer to him. I am not one for royalty. I am by any means a mercenary. I will never be able to find myself at ease with being a noble, the blonde stallion answered. I can always talk the royal guards into testing if you could be a good soldier. It would be similar to what you did in Koha. Protect the innocents and your precious friends just here instead of in Koha. Celestia offered. You would be perfect for that. You have your own brand of training. There wouldn't even be questions about they accepting you because you are my son, since every pony would see what you are capable of, Luna added with an eager nod, already imagining having the armor-clad stallion as part of her personal guards, so to have him as close as possible. I am sorry, I just can't, the shinobi replied by biting one of his front legs as strongly as he could to draw blood before smearing it on high hooves. What are you doing? Luna screamed with wide eyes. I am going home. I have found a way. Kuchi is no jutsu summoning technique, he said, as from the point where he slammed his hooves a complex circle of strange markings appeared, soon followed by a huge cloud of smoke. This chakra signature, Naruto. A booming voice yelled in a mixture of surprise and relief. Baboon, I am so happy to see that my plan worked. I'll explain later, but now I need you to take me to Mount Myaoku, Naruto said with a relieved smile as a huge creature appeared in front of him and that he soon climbed until staying on its nose. Mont was a dull rusty red-colored huge toad with around his eyes and on his lips and chest brighter red markings and a scar over his left eye. On his tongue he had a series of stud-like piercings on both the upper and lower side. He was wearing a large blue happy vest with a key for eye on the back and carries a massive blade at his hip. What the hell happened? You were in horse with wings, the summon said in shock, almost dropping the large pipe he was smoking from. It's complicated. Now just do as I asked and take me to the mount. I'll explain everything once there, the stallion pleaded, his tone alon convincing the toad boss to comply with the request. Stop, Luna screamed in horror as her own power circled around Gun's feet to stop him. Guards, Celestia yelled before adding her own magic into stopping the toad boss. In an instant several armored Pegasus and unicorn surrounded the princesses. Well, Epping distance from the summon. That tickles. What are you trying to do? Gamabunta asked, amused. You won't take him away, Luna roared in fury. The creature is trying to take away Prince Maelstrom. Please help us, Celestia pleaded. Roger. The dozen of guards yelled at the same time as their own horns flared to life while the flying component of the squads rapidly circled the toad boss. So you are the bastards that kidnapped him, and you even turned him into one of you guys. You are in deep, __. Just so you know, Gamabunta growled with narrowed eyes. Whatever he said rapidly translated by Celestia so that the others could understand, and vice versa. You fool, we will never leave the son of one of our beloved princesses. Get Panya napped without fighting. Soldier, have everyone focus restraining spells on the toad. The prince must get out unscathed. One of the soldiers, a captain at the head of the Pegasus Uni T said Roger. So the other replied immediately, please Maelstrom, please don't leave me. I can't lose you too, Luna pleaded. I am sorry, give me some oil. Gamaboon, Naro answered with a sad sigh while his horn lightened up and he opened his mouth wide. I'll take you home even if it kills me, boy, trust me, the toad boss said as his belly inflated to huge proportions. Scatter, Selesa yelled with wide eyes as soon as she saw fire mounting in Nutke mouth. Collaboration Jutsu Jenden 2 Flame Bullet. Both stallion and toad yelled at the same time, the summon spitting out a veritable river of oil and the oath are using the short blast of sparks he had spat out to turn it into a wide wave of fire shields up. One of the guards yelled as immediately every pony present able to wield magic aided by the two princesses collaborated into rising a strong enough barrier to stop the fire from roasting them. And imagine gardens and castle, but once smoke and flames disappeared there was no trace of either summon or summoner. He is gone, Celestia said with wide eyes. Milram no, Luna muttered before collapsing from the shock. Luna the Sun Princess screamed in horror while trying to reanimate the fainted Alorn. Mount Moku isolated area and the powerful explosion of smoke. Gamabunta reappeared in the sacred mountain of the Toad summoning clan, the current boss, scanning the area until he nodded satisfied. No one's near, you can come out, he said. I am here, I am home, Naruto said with a smile, towing the broken and actually caring Gamabunta. Yes, you are. Listen, I have a small area that needs my attention. I won't tell anyone you called me nor that you are here. No one usually comes here, so you'll have some peace. Just wait for me and we will talk a little. Okay, the summon said with his most calm smile. But you'll be back soon, are I? He asked in worry. Of course I will. Why, who the hell do you think you are talking with? I still consider you a friend, Gamabunta answered, smirking. Thank you, the stallion said. Now relax and enjoy being home. I'll be back soon, the summon said before calmly jumping away. Okay, Nudo answered before drift asleep under an huge leaf with a serene smile on his face not far away. Hops, what happened? You got summoned all of a sudden. A new guy signed our contract, another massive Toad asked, curious. No, it was Naruto. I managed to take him here, the boss answered. What, he is here? You saved him? Hops, Gamakichi son of the Toad boss said with a wide smile. Wait, there is a problem. He is not okay and needs our help, Gamabunta said while barely grabbing his son in time. Problem? What problem? What happened to him? The younger Toad asked immediately. Have someone fetched Tade Kakashi too. We need people he can trust. He is not okay and needs our help, the Toad boss said. Here, trust me, we need them here. I am not good in this kind of situations. Will you take those two? I'll go looking for Ma and Pa as well, Gamabunta answered with a worried tone. I'll go right away, Gamakichi said, nodding before moving towards Elder Toad, so to have him emergency summon in the elemental countries. Meanwhile, Canlet, we have found traces of the ritual. One of the unicorns tasked with a studying of the area set in relief. Can you reverse engineer it? Celestia asked. We are trying to re-establish the connection, but we need time. Unicorn answered, looking down. Do it. We need to call him back. How is Luna? The Sun Alicorn said. She is still crying, princess, but at least she is more calm. Twilight Sparkle answered. I don't understand why Hune's doing this, Applejack said while shaking her head. I studied the ritual of Starswirl Prink. Celestia turned him into a full-fledged human mind comprised, and the humans in that world had the right idea and erasing his memories to nothing, since otherwise he would have had problems recognizing his new body as his own. But when she called him back here, she had left his mind as it was prompting his brain to finally register that he has no longer a human body. During his fight with Nightmare Moon, he had been only focused on stopping her and talked to Celestia, but as soon as things calmed down, his ignored issues came back. Now he is just scared, the purple unicorn answered. Scared? Rainbow said with furrowed brows. He can't recognize himself. He has started having doubts about his staying here in Equestria, and he now fears rejection from his old friends. He probably believes that he has nowhere to go and no PY to talk to that he can trust. He is desperate, and so he is not thinking rational. Twilight explained that creature he summoned must be one of his friends. Hearing him promise help and a place to stay in his old world was more than enough to have Maelstrom latch into it and go away. Celestia add in realization. Darn, that sounds bad, young purple dragon said with raised eyebrows. I fear that it may become even worse than that. Sparin the Sun Princess answered. We will help him, we just need to have him understand that he is not alone nor unwanted. Flutter, she replied. What if we use the elements of harmony? Rarity asked. I don't know if they would work in this case. The darkness that is clinging to his heart is of his own creation, but it still has to corrupt him completely, so I am not certain. Celestia answered. Can we help in some way? Prince Twilight asked. That is in fact the reason why I called you all here. Me and Luna are going to use the same method Maelstrom used to reach him. But we need the element of magic along the other elements to back up our magic, so to send us and then call us back as soon as we have found him. Can you help us? The princess answered. Weck, do our best, princess, and if a boy keep acting like that I will personally drag him her by that horn of his Appalea. CK answered. He is just scared, Applejack. I will help as well, Flutter, she added. Still have to throw him a welcome new friend party. Of course I will help that silly stallion, Pinkie Pie said, smiling wide. A friend, Luna asked while joining the scene with her eyes still red from her recent crying fit. Of course everyone needs friends, so why not him as well? The pink pony answered. He helped us by keeping you occupied while we recovered the elements. It's only fair that we return the favor by snapping him out of his self-pity. Rarity said. You can count on us, Princess Luna. Weck help you bring the prince ba. CK Twilight added. Thank you, everything you want is yours, just help me recover my son. Luna answered with a grateful smile. Just take him back, it's all we ask. He is one of us and I think he can be a nice pony. One soften him enough, he only needs to enjoy life more. Answered. We have a 3. It's a weak link, but we should be able to enlarge it into a portal thanks to the elements, but we have to be cautious. It's a one-time deal, any mistake and we won't have a second chance, but we can now start working on it at least. The unicorn said. Good lead and go help them, sister, we have your wayward s. On to recover. Celestia said. Okay, I am going to ground him for 1,000 years once we are done. Luna answered. That's the spirit, Mount my Boku. Sometime later, Tsunade was rapidly marching through the path towards the disappeared Naruto with a deep scowl on her face. She was aware that having her and Kakashi enter in that realm without first signing the Toad summoning contract was unheard of, but what she did understand was the magnitude of the problem being great enough to bend the rules, and for this to happen you don't actually believe that thing about him being in horse ride. Kakashi back in his Jay and robes asked. I saw a lighting gulf my god sent to drag him away, and a shape of something scarily resembling a winged horse grab him. As for now my suspension of disbelief is on strike, so I am open to every possibility. I just want him back. The woman answered. Good, I thought I was the only one leadin'. Go. The mask Shino answered as both quickened their pace by dressing like the time you were his gen and team sensei. She asked. For the same reason you are wearing your green coat as Gamma Boon said. He is under shock, so he needs something familiar to latch onto, so to stay calm I even have a copy o. F it Ida with me, the other answered. You always have a copy of that with you, Tade said, smirking. Yes, but this is the same issue I was reading when I gave my bell test to Team 7. Good thinking, SSSSH. Be quiet, Gamakichi whispered with a glare before slightly lifting a leaf to show Nudo calmly talking wit. The two Tads Ma and Pa, well, exception made for the horn. I find you well, Nudo boy, PA said with a cheerful tone. Always said that you were strong as in horse for someone your age. Turns out I was right. Ah, Ma added, smirking. That's not funny, I look like something out of a toy store, Naruto replied, pouting. Gee, but I guess you would have a great success with girls like that, P answered, chuckling. Please, PA, don't talk like Haroon, as if a girl would not run away screaming one seeing that I am a talking horse, the blonde stallion answered, shaking his head. I find you cute instead, Naruto, Tsunade said as she and Kakashi slowly walked out of their hiding spot. BB botching, the other yelled with wide eyes. Yo, Naruto decided to change look without telling me. I thought that you would have gone for the orange though. Was it taken? Kakashi said with an eye smile while internally cringing at the fear he could read in his former student's eyes. I am not, the stallion stammered while slowly backing away. He was also looking around for possible escape routes. It's okay, I am here now, I am not afraid, disgusted or angry, I just want to talk, Tsunade offered with a calm voice and raised hands. You shouldn't have known about this. I asked only this to Gabune, he said before spinning in place to run away. Bring your sorry ass, your brat, before I turn you into a paste. Sensing the danger of losing him, the woman changed tactic and used the same tone of when the blonde shinobi in front of her used to joke once too many about a real age that stopped Naruto mid-run. It was something he recognized, something he knew was normal, and was something Tsunade could use to convince him that everything was fine, that nothing between them had changed. Come here, let's talk a little, Kakashi offered while sitting on the ground and patting The spot next to him. Oh, okay, Nudo muttered well, slowly, almost painfully. On his part, he walked near his old sensei to sit next to him, and flinching when the silver-haired man patted him on the head. See, was it as hard as mastering the Renan? I don't think so, the masked shinobi said while flipping open S book to read, or at least pretend to. Okay, Nudo, me and Kakashi can help you, but you need to tell me the whole story. The others too are beside themselves and worry. Even Sasuke is twitchy and wants to know what happened to you. Of course, he tried to play it cool, but we know he is just as worried as the others, if not more, Tsunade said while sitting at the stallion's other side. He snorted at the part about sass. That was a good sign in both shinobi's book. Then Oham main gate the next day. He is close, I can sense him, Luna said as soon as the portal opened above the village. Let's be calm though, we SK having them attack us if we act recklessly, Celeste answered. I think they already know that we are here, the Moon Alorn said while pointing with an huff at inhuman riding and huge dog that had sprinted away as soon as he had spotted them. Naturally born warriors trained ever since their birth of Su. RSE, their senses are sharp. The Sun Princess, that is inhuman wearing an hood, used a black cloud of bugs to point in an isolated location before signaling them to follow. We are getting closer. Maelstrom must have told them about us and we expecting our arrival, Luna said with narrowed eyes following hooded human. The two alley princess could see more and more humans joining the run by jumping from a rooftop to the other, idly surprising the two sisters with the speed and elegance that could do that with his friend. Celestia muttered as a pale-skinned boy flew near them thanks to an ink-made bird. So many, Luna whispered in wonder as a red-haired human joined them up in the sky by running up a demonic-looking arm made of sand and angling it so to jog at their other side, neither human sparing even a glance at the Alicorn sisters. Soon the group reached a small clearing surrounded by trees. In its middle they could see Nudo sitting on the ground while talking with a pink-haired female human, a pale-eyed female human, and a male with raven-colored hair. As soon as the two princesses touched ground, the near shadows sprang to life, latching to theirs and incredibly climbing their body until a claw F shadows grabbed their neck. At the same time, a boy with chubby cheeks grew a huge proportions and stepped between them and the stallion, while another with a bold haircut removed several iron bars from his arms and legs, each one of the little objects creating craters as he threw them away. As the two sisters tried to understand what happened, they could feel a strange presence in the back of their minds coming from a blonde human girl glaring at both the Paley girl and a second younger one moving in front of Naruto with the veins around their eyes bulging out. Main completed Hokage-sama, Shikamaru said from his kneeling position, ready to squash them if I need to. Chi said, nodding. Yos, ready to defend our friend. I won't hold back. Rock Lee added, I am ready. If they try anything, I will shut down their brain. Ino said, you may not have chakra, but we can still disable your muscles, right? Hana Bai Hinata said, right. Whamma, the younger Huger replied. Hen, so you find funny kidnapping people and turning them into an horse? Well, I don't. Instead, SK said as he summoned the towering form of his Susu. You want him? Then you'll have to step on my corpse, Sakura said while punching the ground strong enough to seemingly shock the whole village. Congratulations, you just made yourself an enemy of both Koha and Suna, Long Spring Wave, Kumo, and several other minor V's. I hope you are proud of yourself, Gar said with a cold voice as he and his siblings prepared their respective weapons. The dude is our friend L. Ike. Hell, I am going to let some pastel-colored horse take him away, Kiba said with AAMU near him growling at the two alicorns. I suggest you to not try anything funny. Why? Because we won't be kind in our answer, Shio added with a nod. All of you don't care about us being a winged unicorn? Luna asked in disbelief while momentarily wondering if the spell Celestia used to teach her the language was filing and translating properly. What can I say? I always wanted to meet in unicorn and now I can, thanks to you, Ino said smirking. He is kind of cute now. Didn't like how he looked before. It's an improvement, Han. Abby said with a shrug, well, ignoring Hinata's glare. Yos, I don't care what form he takes, he still is our greatest knucklehead friend and we will help him if he needs us, Lee said with a nice guy pose and pinging teeth. Okay, I didn't need to see that, Celestia muttered, shivering, but he is my son. I just NT him back home, Lunette answered with a sad tone. Then you should have firstly approached him to explain the situation instead of forcing him into this. Just kidnapping him to turn him into one of us was just as wrong as you could get. Gar answered with narrowed eyes. It is my fault. I wanted my sister back and was ready to use any means necessary to reach that goal. She is innocent, Celestia admitted. Yeah, we know that we are savages, brutes, and all that crap, so you thought he would have been happy to go back and yada yada yada, Kiru said mockingly. Then you blame me. You people don't know the power of harmony or friendship, the Sun Princess said. Beg to differ. Had that be true, all of us wouldn't be here ready to destroy you just to defend the dop behind me, Sass answered. Hoy, don't you dare call my son like that, Luna yelled enraged. It's an affectionate nickname. By now calm your feathers before I use you to refill my pillow, the boy replied sneering. Since when? That's a nickname. I always mean it when I call you a bastard, Naruto said. Correction, take him away. I already regret him being back, Sass said. Love you too, the stallion said sarcastically. He seems happy, Celestia muttered. I don't care, I have already lost his father. I can't lose him too, the Moon Princess yelled before shocking the others and breaking free long enough to pounce on Naruto and hug him, burying her face on his shoulder to openly cry while hugging him. Stand back now, Sakura ordered while overcharging her fists in chakra until He shone in a flaming aura of energy. No, please, no, don't take him away from me, please, please, the alicorn pleaded while clinging to her son harder and harder, shamelessly sobbing and hicking while shaking her head. Bachan, Naruto asked with a worried voice, unable to think about a solution. Step down, Wek. Try to resolve this specifically, Kakashi said. Thank you, Selesa answered. Don't, we are doing this for him, not you, Tsunade said while marching towards Naruto to sit near him. I don't want to leave you, the blonde stallion muttered. And you want the woman, replied smiling B, but please don't take him away. I just want an occasion to have him back with me, Luna said. My mother is Cash, Naruto muttered. They discovered your being not human, once dead, but they didn't care. They loved you all the same and were actually grateful for the occasion of raising you as their own. Tsunade answered. How during that mass reviva of dead Minato had met Kakashi and thanked him for training you and keeping an eye on his son. That's how he defined you, his son. To him, being inhuman or being in unicorn or whatever was not important. He had decided by himself to take you in and never regretted it, the woman answered. Minato sensei told me that he was sorry for your mother. Well, Luna's here, but also that he thanked the heavens that gave him an occasion to be a father, even if because of Ao's dark moment that had not lasted long. He never regretted a single moment, and if he said that, you can be damn sure that Kha too had been happy to call you son and is proud of you even now, Kakashi added. But now then, Naruto asked. I fear that outside us not everyone will be as understanding about your being in unicorn, Tsunade said. But let me finish, brat, the woman bellowed. Sorry, Botan, he muttered. God, if I missed you calling me like that. What I meant is, well, not everyone will understand, the ones in here plus few others are not bothered by it, she said. Well, I can find it bothering being defeated by a pony is an hard hit to my pride, Kiba said with a barely restrained smirk. If you put it like that, I am not feeling good myself at the idea of having lost to an horse, Sasuke added, ignoring the two idiots that I will beat within an inch of their lives once we have done. I want you to remember each and every one of us whenever you feel sad. In what was that place called? Tsunade said. The Equestria, Celestia offered. That what everyone yell. Listen, it's clear that some people may try to capture Naruto to try and use him or study him. Bastards like Orochimo are always around, so I think we can let him live with Luna-sen here. But the former Hokage said while rising in hand to stop the flood of screams from the others. Let me finish. While he stays in there, he will ride us every day, twice a day, and will be able to come back here via summons at least once a week to spend some time with us all. And I think we may feel freely to ask for his help in case of emergency where we need our overpowered friend, she said. I am not overpowered, Naruto said, pouting, making Luna smile at his expression. Though you are ridiculously overpowered. I think people change the meaning of op after you pass by, Sass said. So I'll be what exactly? The stallion asked. Well, you want it to be important then. Congratulations, you are the official ambassador of Kohat Ak. Iuk Kakashi said. Equestria Selesa said, sighing at place. The masked shinobi said with an eye smile that made the Sun Princess grumble in annoyance. Same goes for Suna. If we are lucky we will be able to exchange some of our ores with those people in exchange of some rare wealth. Gar said, nodding. Well, Hink, it may be done, Celestia said in surprise, so I'll stay with them. Naruto asked, you are staying with both? Brat, you now have two homes, one in Keno Hasuna and one with those ponies. I think it is a good way to make everyone happy, Tsunade answered, and not even by living in a different planet there is an way of getting rid of you. I guess we are stuck with you, Hanabi said, smirking. That is not a nice thing to say, and I was about to have a romantic story with him. Why can't I have an happy ending with him, one where I would hug him, then he would hug me back, and then take off his pants? And Hinata answer Ed before moving through a long rant the others soon cut off from their ears. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Luna kept repeating with an happy smile. But remember, Tade said before, surprising everyone by grabbing the alicorn's horn to twist her face around so to better glare at her with enough strength. Have lesser being reach spontaneous combustion. Do letters a day every day, no matter if in order to fill them he has to tell me what he had for breakfast. I want to know he is okay, and we all know how he acts, thinks and speak, and we check every little comma of every letter at the very first signal. Had you are brainwashing him, or worse, I will personally reach your world and force you two to watch as I personally burn it to the ground. Mom, I clear, she said, roaring. Yes, Luna and Celestia squeaked while nodding rapidly. Oh, and don't forget, I want him free to come pay us a visit whenever he can. ONC. A week would be perfect, thank you, Sunad then said, switching back to her most gentle smile before letting the princess go to return with the others. She is scary, Luna muttered. You have no idea, Naruto said, nodding. Hoi, I don't know them, but I want a way to have you still in my life, the woman said. Okay. Botan, okay, we got it, Naruto said. Good, would you really come back home with me? Luna asked with wide eyes. I guess I will. Can I still consider Minato and Kushina my parents as well? You can't ask me to forget them, he answered. And what about me? The Moon Princess asked. A step at a time is still something. Sister Celestia said. Oh, okay, Leiden, go home, Luna said, nodding. See, right, idiot, you know she will go apocalyptic otherwise, Sakura said with a small smile. I will see you around. The blonde stallion had the time to say before light engulfed him to take the three-winged horses away. Equestria Castle Maor S room that night, bucking apples with Applejack, helping Rarity with her dresses, help Twilight with cataloging her books, help Fluttery with her animals, and being Dash partner during her flying training, along helping Pinkie Pie in her family shop. Why did I tell them that I would have done everything? Hey asked to excuse the troubles I put them into. The stallion asked to the room for two reasons. One is because you are too gentle for your own good, and the other because only an idiot would give such an opening to a woman, let alone six. Kurama answered, chuckling. Thanks, that makes me feel oh so better. Maelstrom answered, groaning, but the knowledge that he still had a small link to the elemental countries and that his friends still wanted to be his friends had lifted a weight from his chest he knew had been crushing him. That same night he found himself in an empty void, back into being a blonde Huma. Near him a red-haired woman and a blonde-haired man smiling proudly at him. Luna, Naruto asked, DCH, as if I will leave that horsey mess with my baby boys, dream. Tobinkina answered with a superior smirk. But now, Naruto asked, we talk a little and help you find the right way to start finding an equilibrium between your life here and the one back in the elemental countries. Minato answered, it may take long, Naruto said, snorting. Good thing time works in a strange way in dreams, Kha answered. The Minato added, not far away. Luna slowly tiptoed out of Maelstrom's dream. Seeing those two spirits settle things themselves was enough for her. If they were there, then she didn't need to intervene and help her son. She thought she could trust at least those humans enough to see how things will evolve this time. The next day, the Moon Princess decided to join Maelstrom and Celestia at least for breakfast before going to be and have her rest after her nightly routine, her mind already wondering how to have her son gain a good enough rhythm so to either join her or Celestia once joined the guards, but with a stamina like his that was something not as hard as it normally would have been. The first thing Maelstrom's aid to her though blew away every thought she had and threatened to have her heart explode in happiness. Good morning, mother, the stallion had said with a gentle smile and shining eyes. That's a good start, Celestia muttered with a small laugh at watching Luna pounce on her son to smother him. Silly This doesn't mean I forgive you, you flying donkey. You could have told me everything instead of forcing me to accept this, Maelstrom said while glaring at Celestia through Luna's feathered wings that were hugging him as well. Well, that is a less good start, horse feathers, the son-in-law said with a defeat. Ted sighed, grimacing at hearing her sister start a new round of gushing about her wonderful son. Exter seen Nutcase Dream alternative version. That same night he found himself in an empty void, back into being a blonde human, near him a red-haired woman and a blonde-haired man smiling proudly at him. Luna Naru. To ask TCH as if I will leave that horsey mess with my baby boys, dream Tobin Kha answered with a superior smirk. What now, Naro asked. Weck, talk a little and help you find the right way to start finding an equilibrium between your life here and the one back in the elemental countries. It may take long. Naruto said, snorting. Good thing time works in a strange way in dreams, she answered. Hey, where is Dad? The blonde shinobi asked. He is talking with those two sisters. He will join us soon. Meanwhile, Luna and Celestia's dream. You ruined my soon, Minato screamed in fury while chasing the two alicorns. It's not my fault, it was all Celestia's doing, Luna replied while dodging the new wave of coons he was throwing them. Where is your sisterly camaraderie? And you can manipulate dreams. Do something, Celestia answered. He is not a dream but an enraged spirit, and you saw him. He simply smashes down everything. Oot up against him, the other replied with a shriek as a rosin shuriken flew above her head. He was the manliest of the manly men, just like me, and you turned him into something out of a kid show. Minato roared as he prepared new weapons and jutsu to use against the two. May both sister yelled at the aim time denied. Now let me catch you, I got a craving for a steak of horse meat, the former fourth HOK answered with an hungry expression while taking out a knife and a fork. A need to say both princesses won't find a lot of rest that night. Celestia and Luna were waiting at the entrance of the castle. Are there guests to arrive? The Moon Prince is actually scanning the sky in annoyance at being kept waiting. Back in the days when you were given an appointment, you used to get there exactly at the accorded time, or at least 5 minutes earlier, she said, huffing. Luna, please don't start giving out those old sayings like back in the days or when I was younger. Things changed a little in the last 1,000 years. Social etiquette has become a little more free, but being 10 minutes late doesn't mean that they are savages, the other answered, chuckling. I remember you that I was kind of indisposed during tea. Had time instead, but I won't abandon my good manners just for this reason. And why? I can't hear you speak anymore. With the old Sarret speech booming voice, Celestia asked. Maelstrom kept flinching at every word. Once asked why, he said that I was turning whoever I met deaf with that, just like his father. If he has to say something, he does that without sugarcoating it, the princess answered, sighing. That he does, the Sun Princess answered bitterly. You are just angry because he doesn't call you a tea like he used to. But look at the bright side, Luna said, smiling, which is now I am his favorite instead of you. Like in the past where you had stole the Sino. Well, that's my bright side at least, the other answered. DCH, we are deeply sorry, Your Highness, we had some last-minute troubles to adjust the roster, so to have me and few others come here as requested, a Pegasus said as he and two others flew down in front of the princesses. I hope this had not caused too much trouble, General Dr. Celestia said with an apologetic tone. Not at all, Your Highness, I was actually curious to personally see how the wayward prince fights. Voices about his exploit in Ponyville had reached even us, but as you can imagine they got stead into works of fantasy like his being made of fire or summoning huge animals of energy. The imagination of young fillies, the General Nasty Doctor said with an amused chuckle. Actually, Celestia muttered while looking down and ignoring Luna near her, preying in pride. Really, an unicorn that had joined the scene with his two companions asked with a raised eyebrow. Princess Luna, Princess Celestia, this is Captain Shining Armor, with him two unicorns that will also test the prince's abilities. Since he had not been trained the conventional way, we will need a wider spectrum of tests to determine if he is really good enough to become a guard. After giving him the right pointers about how our own job works, of course, Nasty Drill said as Twilight knows you are here. Celestia asked, send her a letter myself, Princess. She asked me to pay attention and don't get hurt. Shining Armor answered, bowing. Good as I Explained to General my nephew had been trained in what are known in the elemental countries as ninja arts, and while I personally deemed the details behind his disappearance too personal to disclose, he is open to explain what his abilities are and how they do work should we ask him. As for the voices about his fight against my sister, Prince Maelstrom calls that flaming form sage mode, and it is another kind of magic only found where he had been sent to the Sun. Princess answered, well, now I am curious to get a shot at that as well, but I guess one has to expect this sort of things from the son of Pr. Incess Luna and an alicorn, at least, the general answered, sighing. He was in unicorn when I called him back here in Equestria. He kind of turned into one once the spell was done. Celestia answered, the body had to catch up with the spirit. Celestia. Luna answered, sister, I am warning you. The sun alicorn mutt Tared, I know, tune down your gushing, or you else spoiling him. She answered, good, just remember that it is for his own good. Celestia said, nodding, although all that bad flanker you never got from our father did need to go somewhere, and a mere unicorn body would have never been able to contain it. Aloe ing the huge boost he got from his father, and well, me too for that matter. The Moon Princess muttered. Luna. Celesta roared in anger, they sure act differently outside from official meetings. I am surprised, one of the Pegasus muttered, and flinching when the general turned to look at him. They are still pawn. I.e. soldier, that's why we love them, because they are still like us. No matter the power at their disposal, they are our benevolent princesses, and yet they try to not make us feel inferior by acting high and mighty in every occasion. Nasty drill answered, yes general, I won't forget that. The soldier answer ed, but this doesn't mean that I won't pick off every hair of your flanks should you people act like fools. They may have the freedom to act like that, but you have not such privileges. You will be proper respectful soldiers and follow protocol to the letter, or I'll have your cutie marks nailed on my fireplace. Understood, the general asked with narrowed eyes. Yes sir, there would be no problem sir, the group answered with rapid nods of their heads. Is everything all right? Celestia asked, just giving my men some last minute details about how we will work, your highness. The general answered with his best smile. Perfect, my son is in the gardens as he was going through some warming exercises, so to be ready for your test when we left to greet you, and I expect you all to be even harsher than with normal soldiers. I won't accept favoritism just because he is a prince he himself. Like that, so please remember this and act accordingly. Luna answered, as you wish your highness. Nasty drill answered, said that the small group marched towards the gardens of the castle. Once there, Nasty drill and the others were welcomed by the image of the long coat wearing Alorn fighting against 1,000 copies of himself. While a few others were either meditating in a corner or balancing miniaturized Renan on the tip of their horns. But the hay is happening here, the general said with wide eyes. Hage bunch and shadow clone technique, one of his spells able to create physical copies of himself. Whatever a clone experience gets transferred to the original upon dispelling, wonderful for infiltration information gathering, and it cuts down training time by a great margin depending on how many clones can be summoned. He is actually one of the few able to use that particular ability to its full potential, even among the ones that firstly created the technique thanks to his reserves. Luna explained, one stallion army. I finally get to see one in action, really interesting. Nasty doctor said with a calculative smirk, learning multiple things at the same time and in a tenth of the time. Twilight must not know about this shining armor, muttered while shivering in fear. Meanwhile, Ponyville Library, Twilight Sparkle was calmly dusting some ancient TS when her back went rigid. You okay? Twilight Spy worried. Bookworm senses tingling. The answer to my prayers has finally appeared somewhere. I must find it, she answered while looking outside with narrowed eyes back to Canet. To their surprise and Luna's ultimate delight, Maelstrom had soon started smiling always wider until taking in huge breath before starting to sing his first song. The Moon Alorn muttered with an huge smile. Maelstrom singing, clone singing, time to get stronger. Yes, NDEED, that's for sure. AI punch style remains very secure, never pending, always the first to make a move. This time we get down nice and smooth. The original said, down nice and smooth. The 1,000 clones answered in the background. Thick punch duck turn. The recorn said, thick punch duck turn. The clones EC Hoed because I'm still smooth with a body oh so new I wish everybody had the same point of view here's the former loser out of Team 7 as he does his best and takes you to heaven Maelstrom said while jumping over an attacking duo of clones getting stronger face to face getting stronger let's get it on getting stronger you and me getting stronger until you move any more original and clone sang as one look up in the sky see the stars up there with them that's where we are the stallion said as with a smirk as he started building energy on his horn to former singing that's where we are and so it goes yes the final chapter liked or not it doesn't matter Monday Tuesday Wednesday or Thursday 247 each and every single day this is how we do the ninja lesson the an your brand new prescription Maelstrom said as he launched the small ball towards a group of clones closing the song with a deafening roar of the jutsu's explosion a short giggle he heard behind his back had the stallion look back and grow wide-eyed at the small audience he could see in there looking down in embarrassment he dispelled his clones and half-heartedly accepted his mother's hug very smooth nice rhythm as well for your first heart song it wasn't bad Luna said smiling about the urge to sing a little is that normal he asked sometimes it happens when a certain event strikes deep down you were happy at having the occasion to show every pony your abilities and get further training so your heart answered with that little song the moon alicorn answered it's still strange Maelstrom answered sighing you get used to it you have a nice boy so don't afraid to use it the other answered while nudging his head up with an hoof okay mother good that's the spirit what kind of Pegasus would I be otherwise the stallion said Merking it's Al Eorn my dear Al Eorn not Pegasus Luna said sighing it is not the same thing I am still a winged horse he said dumbfounded it is not the same thing a Pegasus has wings and unicorn has an horn an earth pony has neither and an alicorn has both wings and horn you are an alicorn pretty much the sum the first three kinds of pony Luna whispered but it's confusing her son whispered back trust me Maelstrom it has been more confusing having you refer to yourself as winged unicorn or Pegasus up until now she answered you okay Princess Luna Prince Maelstrom nasty drill asked concerned Jew Saint setting an issue that had been going on for a little too long but nothing life-threatening Luna answered smiling good if the prince is ready then I think we will be able to start the general said I am ready General Dr. Maelstrom answered nodding perfect shining you Stomper and Buster will be the IRST we are going to test him on stamina speed and agility nasty doctor said Roger the three unicorns said as one if your best Maelstrom they need to see the full extent of your abilities to decide Selesa said okay don't worry as I won't go easy on them the blonde stallion answered shining wide-eye ha. They be feeling about this Wallbuster asked whispering as the alicorn charged the three of them with a look of on his face because Prince of Celestia forgot to tell him to also pay attention because he is the alicorn between the four of us Iron Stomper replied whimpering Force feather shining armor Mew. Ttered sighing Benjin the stallion said while summoning the spiraling jutsu on the tip of his horn shields up shining yelled as he summoned a sphere of energy around himself and his two companions with them adding their own magic to it to make the barrier stronger both spell and jutsu met in a show of sparks until cracks started forming on the defense then NNNNGH keep pushing shining groaned as he and the others tried pushing back it's useless let's evade that thing before it breaks through that howling sound can't be anything good Stomper yelled just in time for the Renan to blow and hole in the barrier buying to shining armor and Wallbuster a first row seed on the effects of the jutsu as it admed the armor of the bulkier unicorn of the three and launched him back of several meters screaming like a frightened little girl you are not supposed to kill them Selesa yelled in shock there is San can drill and hole in pretty much everything but this time I didn't put enough energy for that so he will be fine probably I did pull it back before it touched skin though so he should be fine in a couple of days Maelstrom answered with a sheepish smile how are you soldier nasty drill asked T. Oh the downed unicorn I can't feel my liver anymore oh wait there it is Iron Stomper answered with a broken voice from the hole in the wall he was in keep going you two let's see how good he is at dodging instead of attacking I want him to be on the defensive the general said sounds easy to say shinny. Ing muttered with narrowed eyes. Don't worry, we still have the numbers on our side, we just need to flank him, Buster said, smiling. Aay bunch and no jutsu shadow clone technique, Maelstrom said, summoning 3 copies of himself behind him. Believe it or not, I kind of forgot about that, the slim unicorn mutt Teared with a nervous laugh. Thus be quiet, Buster Shining answered, sighing in defeat. The next day, Ponyville Twilight's library, the group of the Elements of Harmony's bearers were sitting around a small table on the back that had been submerged in books by the resident EGGH head and that was pointing a several passages on each one of them while muttering to herself, okay, it's final, I can't find a thing on chakra here, I admit defeat unless I check Princess Celestia's personal library in Canada. I can only say that there is not a single book that talks about it, Twilight said with an exasperated voice. Well, slamming closed the book in front of her in a cloud of dust. Why you were looking for that, dear? Rarity asked, curious while itching a little away from the dust cloud her friend had just created. I was the one that asked, actually, answered. Why? Because it sounds cool. He is a ninja, right, like in Daring Do's book Daring Do and the Emperor's Crown, so I wanted to know if her idea of ninja had some sort of similarities to Maelstrom's ones that had not been included in the books. The Pegasus answered, shrugging and flying a little higher to look at the pile of books herself. I don't think so. We were more flashy and less worried about sticking to the shadows compared to those in the stories nice ones though. Got to read the rest of the series when I get the occasion, a voice said from the ceiling. Yep, shrieked as she dropped down on the floor in surprise. I hope you have cleaned your hooves. Twilight asked with narrowed eyes. I don't get your fluffy tail in a knot, Maelstrom said while snapping closed the book he was reading and slowly walking down from the ceiling and walls until he was standing a few feet from the main 6. We heard that you had been tested by oil guards. How's it? Applejack asked. Pretty neat if I have to say. Shining Sand grumbled a little about my lack of self-restraint, but otherwise it went good and I managed to impress them. Next week I'll have to show how good I am at flying and then I will be able to join both day and night guards, he answered, smirking. Ing my brother, a black eye and almost tearing away a Pegasus's wings. It's not lacking self-restraint, it's being violent, Twilight said with an huff while crossing her front legs. Sorry, I just wanted to show them that I was not a pampered brat filly but a warrior and got carried away, he said, sighing. Least those soldiers are still fine, but what do you mean by joining both groups? Wouldn't it be tiring for you, Fluttershy asked. Both Mother and Celestia, he said with a snarl, wanted me to join their groups. I said I would have followed both, Maelstrom answered, shrugging. And what about Sleeping Pink? Why? Pi asked. Oh, that's not a problem, we studied the rounds and found a way. I got stamina to spare and can do that. We saw no problem in at least trying for a while. Why are you here, by the way? Twilight asked. Because I have a debt towards you. 6. I forced you to resolve a mess me myself gave birth to an I promised to help you in exchange, so here I am, ready and at your service, the prince said, smiling wide. Oh, we were joking about that actually, but it's okay. So who's first? Rarity asked. Well, since I am here already, Miss Twilight, I am your humble servant, so please use me until you reach satisfaction. On my body and mind are yours to do as you please until I drop down exhausted, although I have stamina to spare, so don't worry, as I can go on for hours without stopping. And something wrong? Maelstrom said, bowing. Stopping. When once looked up he saw 6 red-faced Mars look at him with wide eyes. Sugar that was kind of worst choice of words possible, Applejack muttered. Want us to leave you some privacy, Twilight, Rarity said with a weak chuckle and making the librarian get even redder. Oh dear, Flutter, she muttered while unable to look the stallion in the eyes and fanning herself. Yep, that was kind of dirty, added. What are you? Oh, it wasn't intentional, I swear, I just tried to sound all noble and the like, Maelstrom screamed as soon as he understood the involuntary double onon in his words. It's okay, you can help me by cleaning and cataloging the books as I said, you girl. Helping, Twilight answered, once calmed down. Sorry dear, got some orders that cannot wait, Rarity said, shaking her head. Still got help Big Mac at the barn. Sorry, Applejack added, about to go. Still have to help clean the sky of the ever sorry Twee said as she disappeared in a burst of speed. UESS This will mean that it's only me you and Spike Maelstrom asked as Pinky to moved out after waving at the two so it seems you coming Spike Twilight answered of course the small dragon said nodding BA pet dragon that's awesome the prince said smirking thank you there weren't dragons in that plaque. She asked in the elemental countries only in myths but I would have loved to summon one they are cool he answered both shared a laugh at watching Spike puff out his tiny chest while striking a cool pose failing miserably once tripped on his steps falling face first on the floor I saw you. Use your powers to keep a book up to read are you really taking lessons from Princess Luna the purple unicorn asked while the two moved through the girl's checklist for each title pretty much he answered nodding how can someone pretty much take lessons it doesn't make any sense she asked taken aback. I cheat a little in reality Maelstrom answered cheat like this Kag Bunin the stallion answered by creating a clone give him a book a random one come on I'll show you Maelstrom said with an encouraging nod and what about the real you Twilight asked I'll turn my back and then I will surprise. Say you he answered while giving his back to her this one the first few lines she said while taking an ancient tomb and opening it in a casual page in front of the clone done boss the clone said after a short pause of reading before getting dispelled so Twilight asked confused it is said that adding energy to a reversely compassed matrix will create a backlash no pony with even a shard of interest for one's well-being should want to see happen but I beg to differ or does it answer your question Maelstrom said with a knowing smirk that was Star Swirl's opinion on warding how Twilight asked wide eyes ha shadow clone can send back to its creator every information it is gathered once dispelled may it be in a fight or from reading a book I just create few to study what Luna asked me to once done I dispel them and go through the practical side that I usually prefer never was a scholar kind of guy the first am more for an hands no hooves down kind of approach the alicorn prince answered so if you wanted you could Twilight asked with a calculative gaze create enough clones to memorize every book in this library maybe but why would I want to do that he answered shrugging you okay you are vibrating casted with a worried voice the answer was a purple missile tackling Maelstrom and sending both rolling on the floor until the smaller unicorn was on top of the stallion with both front legs at each side of his head and her face at an inch of his please teach me she asked with her you test voice you don't have chakra I can't do that if you don't have that energy inside you he answered uncertain he didn't know nor actually want to know if she was using some kind of unicorn magic he was not aware of or if that it was an ability she personally had but her eyes in that instant had practically doubled in size and gained a thin veil of moisture at their extremities even her lower lip was trembling a little please pretty please she asked again no chakra no shadow clones he repeated slowly sniff her sniffle echoed in the silent library as her unshed tears grew in quantity. Why making her eyes shine I damn it Kurorama growled from the seal while failing to look a ways maybe I can temporarily give you enough chakra to try it would mean that I would have to personally refill your reserves after each try but if I got the talls right Ago gave chakra to people with a jutsu his and while I can't do that on a permanent basis maybe I will be able to give you some for just enough time to summon a cloner to but not more than that Maelstrom said with a sigh of defeat yea thank you Twilight said with a wide smile while hugging him kissing his cheek in her blind happiness she muttered once noticed let's pretend that never happened okay the stallion said in embarrassment yes thank you don't know what got over me she answered nodding meanwhile Canlet and horror-filled scream made the castle tremble as Luna entered the throne room to look at Celestia with bloodshot eyes. What happened Luna the sun alicorn asked worried where is Maelstrom I had a nightmare and I need to be sure that he is safe and I was not having some sort of premonition the moon princess answered you are taking this mother thing too seriously and I am surprised to say such a thing he is safe and can defend himself and even then he is in Ponyville Celestia answered Ponyville why he wanted to repay the element bearers for the trouble he had put them through during his crisis he is probably already helping Twilight with her books she answered oh okay wait Luna said while letting out a long cow. Ming breath before her wings shot open rigid just like her eyes Twilight as in Twilight Sparkle she asked yes Celestia said unsure as in Twilight Sparkle the unicorn Luna asked with narrowed eyes last time I checked she was one yes the other answered with an uncertain nod why light sparkled a female. Unicorn the moon alicorn said with a strange tone stressing the unicorn se Luna you are not suggesting that something may happen between the two right Celestia asked now very worried what why would I they are just two young ponies alone in a closed space where no one would enter and disturb them Beck. Oz probably closed for cataloging with one being a studly stallion and the other a b now hormonal teen probably curious about how mating works why should I be worried as if she would ever make a move on my innocent son and put her dirty hooves on him so to kiss and then undress him and Luna a NS word before she flew out of the window like a bullet of black bluish energy moving at light speed towards Ponyville. Oh, for the love of Celestia said groaning before teleporting away halfway towards Ponyville few seconds later need to go faster need to save son's innocence need to stop dirty frolic. King and turn evil M into ugly ornament and hide it in the everfree forest the moon alicorn muttered to herself while gaining even more speed but an ethereal hand grabbed Luna to stop her long enough for Celestia to appear in front of her a thick tense silence filled the area as every life form stow. Od still so to not interfere in the confrontation of the two powerful sisters what are you doing sister dear Celestia asked while tapping one of her hooves on the cloud she was standing on oh you know just flying around Luna answered with as much casualness she could fit in her voice flying around Lying around the moon princess replied nonplussed Ang the Alorn asked overing are you Celestia asked with narrowed eyes no good because that would be bad the other said nodding how bad I'd have to put you back on the moon until you calm down that's bad Luna said surprised indeed listen I was Jew. Saint planning to check on him a little that's all nothing bad sinister Luna he is not a filly he is a young war veteran no matter how wrong that sounds so just let him go have some freedom Celestia said sighing do I really have to Luna said with a moan he will soon become a night and day guard once one you'll have at least a good excuse to keep him close to you all you like can you at least wait until then the sun princess said okay the other muttered in defeat okay fine we will go give a peek but just for a minute and this is a one-time deal only for today let him have his space you suffoca. Ting M. Celestia said once saw her sister's downcast expression hooray I knew you would have seen reason you are not evil after all Luna said with a wide smile said that both princesses disappeared in a new flash of teleportation this time reappearing outside Ponyville's library to peek through the Dow's thing that forced Celestia to once again restrain Luna as for some reason the two were touching horns with their eyes closed unluckily they couldn't hear what was being said otherwise the thing would have been resolved sooner and more easily inside the library can you feel it this is basically how I shape chakra through magic to form my clones Maelstrom muttered while sending chakra to his horn so to have Twilight sense it this is a different kind of energy then and you use your alicorn magic to guide it fascinating she said as her smaller horn moved a little up and down his yes do you see why I said it was hard to teach then it took me months during my imprisonment just to relearn how to shape chakra in a new body he said nodding movement that unknown to them had their heads momentarily move closer and got Luna to go full apoplectic and anger it's a pity maybe you can help me create a spell with similar results then Twilight asked as the two broke apart you can do that he asked surprised this one clearly heard by the two princesses I still don't know but I am sure that there should be some book about it around and I never lacked imagination in this sort of things Twilight NS word smirking awesome the stallion said in awe outside why you are not leaving me go in there she is harassing him with who knows what kind of dirty ideas Luna his Pete is not the kind of pony to do that trust me as I know my student and you are not in the right mood to specifically intervene in anything either so the blocks remain where they are Celestia answered then why you are not in there to stop this travesty from continuing the moon princess asked because that would mean leave you unchecked and I am afraid of the possible inclinations of that happening the other answered then what shish Old we do Lunar roared and forcing both princesses to duck down so to not be spot we go back to the castle where you will calm yourself down by blowing up something easily replaceable and once returned to a more princess-like composure we will wait for Maelstrom's return turn and calmly and subtly try to understand what happened and if there is something between the two we will see if it is something serious or just a fling no sense going nightmare on Twilight without certain proofs Celestia answered and I at least banish her should I don't like the answer Luna asked we can't send on the moon. Everything and every pony we don't like the Sun Princess answered while shaking her head well admittedly I was thinking about another planet you know that faint blue dot our astronomers said was the farthest planet from Equestria the Moon Corn answered with a nervous smile Leiden just go home for now. I will pretend that answer never left your mouth if you don't mind Celestia said bitterly before forcefully teleporting the two away back with the two why I have this strange chill running up my back Maelstrom asked I don't know but I have a similar one Twilight answered nodding both said shrugging. As they returned to the book's second chapter done I decided that I will do a chapter for one or two girls in the pairing so to at least try to have a proper start to the rest of pairing little preview for the next one will be about Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash here is a little preview of P. Inky's part 1 I hope will be somehow fun for you too Ignis Rock Pinkie's father knew something was bad when a stallion of all people came visiting their home he was not exactly an overprotective father by any means but as every father he was still feeling kind of queasy at the idea of any male figure spending too much time alone with his daughter my dear he is just helping her with a secret project of Pinkie I don't think there is anything to worry about they are friends that's all the stallion's wife said for what must have been the 10th time in the last 30 minutes I am not exactly worried I'm just keeping my ears open and my sense as sharp as my rocks Ignis answered even too much casually as he stalked closer to the kitchen door look I trust you and I trust my daughter and I will show you that there is nothing to be worried about the mayor said huffing as both leaned close to the door. To listen wow that's huge they heard Pinkie said making her father splutter you think Maelstrom answered uncertainly I had always seen way smaller ones or at least I never saw something like this in person only on pictures she answered giggling where Ignia smiled with an horrified expression SSSH. Quartz hissed do you think it will fit inside MSTR asked unknowingly making both parents go green in their face maybe cramming it in you can try pushing hard until it enters all the way inside Pinkie answered I am going to be sick Ignis muttered between gauging sounds while his wife was too shocked to even breath it would make a mess Pinkie stuff would fly around and splatter everywhere and make things too sticky the stallion said in disgust from inside that may be but it still tastes good about that I can't believe how much of that you can actually eat doesn't that make you sick he asked what can I say I am a glutton she answered with a new giggle oh Celestia Court said while stinging the floor in shock you know what whatever open wide so I can start and Maelstrom was about to say when Ignis broke down the door in his haste to enter what are ya oh you are making a pie ha just a pie the girl's father yelled before rapidly dropping everything one saw Maelstrom and Pinkie covered from head to tail and floor with various blotches of chocolate here and there and I wanted to see if I could make the most biggest chocolate pie ever and Maelstrom helped me Pinkie answered with a wide smile He problem is that we got so caught up that we never considered how to actually have it fit in the oven at least in the meantime I got some clones to clean up like that you won't have a mess for a kitchen the prince answered nodding okay I thought you two were it doesn't matter but thank you for cleaning up everything your highness there was no need Ignia said with a forced smile while trying to pretend he never bust inside try cutting the thing in half and cook it like that you can put it back together once done Quartz added from outside with a relieved expression okay mom Pinkie said SMI. Ling and waving at her parents as they left the room nice ponies Maelstrom muttered shivering when Pinkie gave a long lick to his cheek you it needs more good though the pink pony said seriously please don't do that the stallion said blushing yes please don't Quartz muttered gagging while Ignis kept hammering his head on a big rock to erase the images he had conjured in his head by himself during his spying chapter and alright that's it for today's video guys let me know in the comments section how was the story and also don't forget to like share and subscribe I will meet you in another vid. Oh peace out.